What would some bug-type Pokemon look like in a Brazil-inspired Pokemon region? Brazil is swarming with nearly 1 million insect species. Yes, you heard that right, and according to experts, possibly even more, with some of the most interesting or downright bizarre-looking bugs in the world. I mean, what the is that? Well, I wanted to honor this with plenty of fantastical and fun bug-type Pokemon for the tropical Zonhe region, my Fakemon region, inspired by Brazil's biomes, flora, fauna, and vibrant culture, and home to hypothetical games Pokémon Push and Pokémon Pull. While plenty of bug types from all over the Pokemon world would fit right at home in the Zonhe region and could be found crawling all around its various biomes, there are plenty of new bug types native to the Zonhe region that I cannot wait to introduce. I've actually teased and introduced plenty of epic bug-type Pokemon native to the tropical Zonhe region throughout various of my other videos here on my channel, all of which I'll briefly recap sporadically throughout this video, alongside all of the new additions for those of you who are new or possibly haven't seen those videos yet. But of course, for those of you ride or dies, thank you very much by the way, who watch every video from start to finish, I'll make things as brief as possible and try to throw in some new tidbits of information to keep you on your toes. So now that you've seen all of the Zonhe starter stages, and hopefully chosen your starter Pokemon for your adventure through the Zonhe region, let's go catch some bug-type Pokemon. I'd like to get the ball rolling by introducing a brand new bug tag-centric duo. No, not these two. I'll get to them later, but instead, Criconto and Caroachinha, both brought to life by Pokemons. Criconto hop around journaling information they collect throughout their journey on their book-like wings, which they use to disguise themselves as foliage when in danger. Criconto is a bug grass type who can make the most of grass-type attacks such as Razor Leaf, Magical Leaf, and Leaf Storm, in addition to bug-type moves such as Bug Buzz. It is a cricket after all, as it's inspired by a Brazilian cricket species known as the Leaf Mimic, which looks like a literal Pokemon. This is also where its grass typing and leaf-shaped wings come into play, and if you haven't noticed by now, its wings also resemble the pages of a book, and its antennas resemble bookmarks, which is where its name comes into play, being a play on cricket, and contado being the Portuguese word for story, as it's known as the storybook Pokemon, with the signature ability Storytime, which gives priority to ally bug-type Pokemon's moves as its audience is seated, which pairs perfectly with its partner Pokemon, Caroachinha, the storyteller Pokemon, a sweet old bug type inspired by cockroaches, mixed with its Brazilian namesake, being a fictional character from Brazilian culture associated with fables and storybooks, also often depicted as a cockroach in some iterations, which is the inspiration behind this tag duo, of course. This is also where its fairy typing comes into play, as a nod to fairy tales, being able to use some magical moves such as Dazzling Gleam and Moonblast. This is also why its design has an elderly and adorable grandma-like appearance down to its antenna-like glasses. And of course it's often seen holding and reading off the wings of Criconto as it tells its stories. And like its counterpart Criconto, Caroachinha also has the Storytime ability, giving an ally bug-type Pokemon once again priority, which is already quite promising, but when paired together, these two Pokemon both giving each other priority can rewrite the story as they make quite the team. These two Pokemon, while rather rare, are found all throughout the Zonhe region, but more commonly in its grassy areas. However, it's important to note Criconto is a Pokemon Push exclusive, while Caroachinha is a Pokemon Pull exclusive, so to acquire both, you'd have to find a friend to trade with. You'd have absolutely no trouble finding bug-type Pokemon within the Zonhe region, as it's easily one of the largest represented types in the Zonhe region, some of which I've already introduced, like the bug types found on Route 1, such as the Vidroleta line, brought to life by the talented Brazilian artist JJmon, as it's one of, if not the most important bug-type line in the entire Zonhe region. Starting with its first stage, Azularve, based loosely on the bizarre-looking Morpho Caterpillar. For the Morpho Butterfly, when it's ready to evolve, it finds a sunny spot cocooning itself in its glass shards to use to absorb sunlight, evolving into Veiluz, a play on the words veil and the Portuguese word for light. It's covered in a glass cocoon that refracts light, helping to create optical illusions, protecting it from predators such as Eaglet and Harpride. That is, until it's ready to evolve into the dazzling Vidroleta. This Pokemon is a bug ice type inspired by Brazil's iconic Morpho Butterfly, with beautiful glass wings inspired by stained glass windows, as a subtle reference to Catholicism's large role in Brazilian culture, as well as all of its beautiful churches. Another bug type introduced early on in the Zonhe region is the Lollihoop line, once again brought to life by JJMons. While I briefly went over it in my food-inspired video, which I once again recommend going to check out to discover even more delectable food-themed mons inspired by Brazilian cuisine and candy, as that is just such a huge part of Brazilian culture, as I'm sure my Brazilian followers will tell you down in the comments below. But in this video, I will finally be revealing the rest of the Lollihoop line, starting with the sweet Shruggrub. A fairy bug type, inspired by one of my favorite candies, gummy worms. I particularly love the sour ones, but anyways, I digress. Its name obviously being a play on sugar and grub. Shruggrub are able to stick to surfaces due to the sugary sweet coating on their body. Shruggrub evolves into Sweetle. Sweetle's candy antennae are considered a delicacy in the Zonhe region. However, it is forbidden to eat anything other than its antenna, as they are capable of growing them back in a matter of days depending on their diet. But the same cannot be said for the rest of their bodies. Sweetle is inspired by a Brazilian beetle species that I am not even going to attempt to pronounce. You're welcome, as those of you who follow me religiously know, I can barely pronounce words in my own language. Anyways, it maintains Shruggrub's bug fairy typing and gummy worm-like antenna, now taking inspiration from lollipops for its body. And last but not least, Sweetle evolves once more into, you guessed it, a Lollihoop, who is a lot bigger than it looks, by the way, think Butterfree. And it is a sweet fairy bug-type Pokemon inspired by Brazil's tree hopper and its unique crown, which I decided to turn into a bunch of colorful lollipops, with its wings resembling a big lollipop as well. This Pokemon is also used by fairy-type gym leader, culinary genius, and candy queen, Dulce. Dulce is a skilled Pokemon trainer and baker who likes to make sweet desserts and candies, having already made a name for herself in the kitchen, as she even has her own bakery/candy store, which is huge in the Zonhe region, as well as her own viral cooking show. But don't let her sweet appearance fool you, she's a spoiled little brat, and when she doesn't get her way, she will throw a huge tantrum. This delectable line is found all throughout the Zonhe region, and once again fairly early in the game, so if you like it, you should have no problem finding it and adding it to your team. Next, I'd like to introduce the Aliant line. Colonies of Aliant are rumored to have landed down in the Zonhe region from an alien planet for reasons unknown. As its name suggests, it is inspired both by aliens and ants, as homage to Brazil's fascinating history with UFO sightings and aliens, as well as UFO saucers, as if you look closely, the base of its design not only resembles a UFO, but a mushroom in reference to the zombie ant fungus, which also inspired this line. As Aliant are brainless zombie workers serving their queen, its evolution, Martiant, who uses the powerful fungi spores from within its body to brainwash and possess its soldiers so they have no choice but to serve her. Now taking inspiration from a popular intergalactic character from a Brazilian television show, and because this vibrant line, brought to life by the talented Fungusmon, is inspired by ants, it should be no surprise they are the natural adversaries of the Anteater-inspired Moveater line, also brought to life by Fungusmon. Make sure to check out my Monster of a Halloween video to learn even more about the dynamics between these two evolutionary lines and discover some spooky ghost-type Pokemon. That being said, there are even more secrets surrounding these elusive Pokemon to be revealed in future videos. Another bug type native to the Zonhe region is bug normal type Spitar. the normal typing being used to represent music, as most sound-based moves in Pokemon are usually represented through the normal typing. Its name being a play on spider and guitar, as both Spitar and its evolution Cavarach are inspired by a Brazilian instrument which is pretty much just a guitar. These two Pokemon are also inspired by a famous spider species found in Brazil known as the armored or wandering spider, both brought to life by the talented Fungus Fakemon. This line was originally introduced in my music-focused video, so make sure to check that video out to learn even more about these two Pokemon and discover more of those noisy Pokemon. And check out my grass-type focused video to encounter Florpion, a recently introduced bug type, as it's inspired by the scorpions found in Brazil, as well as the cacti species found in Brazil, most notably the blue cactus. Hence its greenish-blue coloring and golden spikes. Florpion's spikes and stinger are sharp enough to pierce through metal, which is fitting as after evolving into Scorprickle, it swaps its bug typing for the steel typing as a nod to this, as well as fellow scorpion Pokemon Scorbunny gaining a new typing after evolving into Drapion. Anyways, Scorprickle, now being a grass steel type, can make the most of its moves like Needle Arm, Smart Strike, and Iron Tail, in addition to bug and poison type moves such as Twin Needle, X Scissor, Poison Tail, and Cross Poison. This line can be found throughout the Zonhe region's drier desert-like areas, but most commonly within the area known as the Cacnea Garden, inspired by the famous cactus garden in Brazil, where it can be found alongside various other cactus-inspired Pokemon. This line was also drawn by the talented artist Trainer_Mats. The real MVPs are Brazilian football, or as we call it in the United States, soccer, inspired Futebug and Insechute. Futebug is a literal football in the form of a roly-poly bug, also known as the pill bug. Well, this bug will be rolling all over the grassy plains of the Zonhe region's pampas. Futebug can withstand the force of a bomb blast by rolling up into their impenetrable steel shells, and are often played with by the citizens of Zonhe as a sports ball. While it may not look all that tough, as single-stage Pokemon, especially bug types, with a few exceptions of course, aren't generally taken serious, it does pack quite a punch, but overall is more of a defensive Pokemon, which should come as no surprise. Capable of really taking a hit, especially with its Iron Shell and Steel typing, using defensive moves like Defense Curl, Iron Defense, or Protect, in addition to Steel-type attacks such as Gyro Ball or Bullet Punch. Like most single-stage Pokemon, it has a gimmick to make it more viable, in this case being its signature ability, Goalie, as it not only acts as the literal football, but Goalie, working to protect ally bug Pokemon from status conditions and having their stats lowered. Working especially well with its counterpart Insechute, a speedy and hard-hitting bug fighting type Pokemon. Insechute zip around the battlefield, usually dribbling a Futebug they are ready to kick and strike their foes down with. Its name being a play on insect, and chute, the Portuguese word for strike, and a football term. It is inspired by a bug known as the leaf-footed bug in Brazil, which is funny not only because it's foot-related and soccer is, well, a sport using your feet, but because its colors ironically match that of the Brazilian flag, even somewhat resembling a sports uniform or jersey, which was obviously what I hoped to do with its design as well. And of course, this Pokemon is also inspired by soccer players, football players, please forgive me, taking inspiration from strikers, aka the more offensive players, who are generally in the center of the action working to score goals. Hence its fighting typing and arsenal of kick-based moves, such as low kick, high jump kick, and mega kick, supported by its high speed stat. Insechute also has a signature ability perfect for tag battles, especially when paired with Futebug, known as Dribble, boosting the attack stats of all ally bug-type Pokemon in a pinch. So Futebug's Goalie ability defends Insechute, which is somewhat of a glass cannon, while Inchetute's Dribble ability can boost Futebug's offensive stats, as it's obviously more of a defensive mon. As if these two abilities didn't already make these two a good tag team, they also each have their own signature move that has an added bonus if you have the other Pokemon in your party. Inchetute's signature attack, Bug Ball, does double damage if you have a Futebug in your party, while Futebug's signature attack, Bug Boot, always goes first if you have an Insechute in your party. Now this tag duo isn't version exclusive like Criconto and Caroachinha, however they are even rarer and therefore harder to find in the wild, especially as they are exclusive to the region's grassy plains, especially those within the Pampas area. These Pokemon are both the ace Pokemon used by Bug Gym Leader Roland, a retired football player and star turned football coach, focusing on double battles as a way to help foster teamwork as it's a crucial part of the sport, with his football uniform and jersey number being a reference to one of Brazil's most iconic players. When you know, you know. There are actually several famous Brazilian football players to sport the number 10 jersey. His gym is found within the futuristic sports stadium within São Tequio City as a reference to the famous stadium belonging to Brazil's most beloved team found in Sao Paulo, which acts as an inspiration for this more futuristic city, infused with Japanese and Tokyo-like elements as reference to the large Japanese population found in Brazil, particularly within Sao Paulo. And while these two are his aces, he uses other Bug-type Pokemon, including a version-exclusive Dream Merge Fusion for the OG Bug-type tag duo, Volbeat and Illumise, who will both take to the field after gaining either the electric or fire typing, using the glowing orb on their body, either made of electricity or fire, as a soccer ball. But you'll have to wait for the Zonhe Chronicles series here on my YouTube channel for me to take these two Dream Merge Fusions off the bench. But you'll encounter plenty of other Bug-type Pokemon, including the Storytime team from earlier in this video, on some of the Gym Challengers teams, which are essentially the members of his football team, pairing up for tag battles. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and all of the Bug-type Pokemon found in it. If so, please make sure to hit that like button, and please leave a comment down below to let me know what you thought and which was your favorite. And once again, if any of these Pokemon find a place on your team in the Zonhe region, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and follow and support all of the amazing artists who help bring my ideas to life.